Hello, I'm Andrea Mandel here at the People and Entertainment Weekly studio at the Toronto International Film Festival. I'm here with a beautiful film, One Fine Morning, director Mia Hansen-Løve and Leia Seydoux. Thank you for sitting down with us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
There's so much to talk about with this film, but Mia, I wanted to start with you because I know some of it came from a personal place, and I'm curious if you can tell us a little bit about why you decided to tell this tale about this woman who's going through so much, including an ailing father. She's a widow of 5 years that finds some love, a version of love again in this film. And so I'm curious how you came to want to tell this story.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if I really wanted to tell the story. I feel more like it decided for me and that I had to write it. There was no other way. When I went back to my desk after my previous film, Bergman Island, and I started to ask myself what I could write, there was nothing else that I could think of, and I guess it has to do with my father's disease, which inspired me some parts of the film, but also with the observation of how strangely and strongly in life very happy moments can cohabit with grief and with pain, and both can be very intense and secretly have a secret dialogue to each other. And I wanted to make a film that was trying to catch this simultaneity of very opposite feelings.
And Leia, you play a woman whose life is filled with duty. It's loving duty, but she spends much of her time caring for her father, whose memory is leaving him, and her daughter, but also finds some happiness along the way, as you mentioned, some semblance of love. I'm curious what you connected to in playing Sandra.
I connected to so many things. I was very moved by the story, the character, and also the fact that it was based on Mia's personal life. I thought that I had a responsibility, to tell her story, and I was just I was drawn to the character, and I felt I had an immediate connection with the character, and it was. I felt that I was Sandra. I wasn't acting. And it was also the first time that I was given a part where I'm not playing a fantasy. I'm a real woman in this film, and this is also something that I really enjoyed.
Well, that actually was part of my next question. I was curious first how the two of you met. And Mia, I've heard you say before that you wanted to be able to show a different side of Leia in this film. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that.
Well, I didn't know Leia at all when we sent her the script. So we met physically the first time after Leia had read the script. But I did write the film from the start with Leia in mind. I couldn't think of anybody else. Well, first of all, just because I admire her a lot, and I had the wish to work with her one day. I've admired her in many films that she's been in, and I admire also the way she creates her filmography, her career, in a very original and singular way. Something that I also very admire about actresses it's not only about how they are in the films, but the way they choose the directors they want to work with. And but I mean, the other thing was that I had the feeling that maybe there was something in the part that would allow us to see Leia in a different way. I had seen her in very sophisticated parts where, yes, she was filmed often not only by men, she's been filmed by women before, of course, but in the last years, maybe more by men. And there was something about the way she was looked at, where, just as Leia said, she was a fantasy in a way. and that part was much more simple, much more down to earth, connected to everyday life. So I thought maybe it can be interesting, or I was hoping that it would be interesting for Leah to play that, and in a way almost exotic after playing so many roles where she played like extraordinary woman having like, you know, like extraordinary lives, and this one was maybe more banal in a way, but I was hoping she would find it universal.
Well, and Leah, we most recently saw you in the James Bond canon in No Time to Die. I understand you're now filming Dune 2. I'm curious what you're looking for in this stage of your career.
What I'm looking for? It's an interesting question. I don't know. I really don't know. What I love is I love to work with directors, and it's always something that comes first to me. Like even, you know, it's not the script. It's about the director, because for me, a director is like a writer, and he writes his film. I mean, yes, but it's his own vision, and I want to be part of someone's vision. So that's what I like the most.
And you both are so prolific. I mean, last year you released Bergman Island. Leah, I was trying to count the number of films that you released in the last 2 years. I stopped somewhere around 5 or 6. I'm curious, and I'll start with you, Leah. What fills you up when you're not working?
Sorry?
What fills you up? What brings you joy when you're not working?
Oh, so many things. So many things. I love being with my son, I have to say. Yeah, this is what I love the most.
And your day-to-day life with your son is in Paris, no?
Yes.
And Mia, for you?
Well, I could give the same answer. Yeah, I've been working a lot, but that makes me love the time where I don't work even more, maybe. And I also love being with my kids, but actually I never really feel I'm not working even when I don't work, because I guess as a writer, even when I'm not writing, I feel like it's part of my work somehow to experience life. So it's the division between what's work and what's not work is not always that clear for me.
And is there a certain project of yours, and this is to each of you, that you would want to show your children first when introducing them to what you've been up to while they were growing up?
Films that I've...
that you've been in. What's
yeah.
the first one you would like to show your son?
The thing is, he's obsessed about submarines. Submarines,
oh yes.
And I've done this film called Kursk, I think it's in Russian. It was directed by I forgot the name. Yes, Thomas Winterberg, and it's a movie. Because I'm sorry, it's a movie. So it's I mean, it's a tragedy. The tragedy of the Kursk submarine, and he just that's the only film that he was interested about.
It had a boat.
Exactly.
Mia, what about you?
Well, actually, my son is much too young to watch films yet, and my daughter, she's more into Stranger Things than into my films. So I actually wait until she will be really interested in my cinema, and hope that day will come. But I perfectly understand that she's a teenager and she needs to watch film of her age.
I know this day will come, so just hang tight. Thank you so much for talking about One Fine Morning. It's a beautiful film, it's an important film, and it's so nice to sit here and be able to discuss it with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.